This week, we go over 3 chapters about data that are available for study. So far, you have collected your own data. These data you collected are known as primary source data. In the research world, there are also data collected from surveys that researchers can use to analyze. We've probably all taken a survey at one time or another. We all hopefully filled out a census survey. The decennial census is of the entire population. But the U.S. Census does yearly and rolling surveys too that are more in-depth than the decennial census done every 10 years. These surveys, the rolling surveys, are done on samples, so they have error in them because not everyone is asked the questions. Only a random sample of people are asked the questions. In surveys, you get asked questions that have one answer, right? These data are usually quantitative and collected with close-ended questions. For example, the census makes available public use microdata from their American Community Survey, where you can analyze things such as occupation, wages, housing, and etc. I like to use these data when I analyze the gender pay gap for California. If you take my statistics course, you will use California public use data to analyze the gender pay gap in our state. And there are many other public use files that have individual level data. Individual level data include information about individuals. For example, you can Google the General Social Survey, or how about UCLA's California Health Interview Survey. The same ethical considerations apply though, so often you can't get individual data about, say, crimes committed, because using the data may lead someone to be able to identify an individual. Or if you want data, say, from the city level about individuals, it may not be available because someone could again identify the individuals. The key for survey data is that it is individual level at best, so you can analyze and summarize the data yourself. You can also create your own surveys, right? Then your data would be primary source. But if you are using someone else's data, survey or not, it is secondary source data that you analyze. Finally, you have existing statistics. These are used all the time in news articles and other media. Journalists are not usually analyzing their own data, so they look to existing statistics that researchers have made available. Remember, the individual level data that we cannot access because it might identify someone. Well, the solution in the research world is to then aggregate the individual level data and make the aggregate data available. This way, we have information such as rape statistics in areas like cities rather than nationally, and the victims and survivors are also not identified or identifiable. To reiterate, this week you are learning about secondary source data. These are data you analyze that you did not collect. They can be qualitative or quantitative. You can also collect your own survey data, but that is a whole other course.